morning, Todd and Carly. So the Trump administration now targeting the state of New York, alleging it is shielding illegal immigrants by defying federal laws. The U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi citing New York's green light laws that allow illegal immigrants to obtain driver's licenses, but prevent some federal agencies from accessing that information.
These great men and women pull over someone and don't have access to their background. They have no idea who they're dealing with, and it puts their lives on the line every single day. Violent criminals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers will no longer terrorize the American people, and that is why we are here today. You will be held accountable if you do not follow federal law. It's over, it ends, and we're coming after you.
New York's governor responding, quote, "We expect Pam Bondi's worthless publicity-driven lawsuit to be a total failure, just like all the others. Let me be clear, New York is not backing down." And today, border czar Tom Homan will be in New York City to meet with Mayor Eric Adams to discuss the city's migrant crisis. And meanwhile, in Massachusetts, a federal judge has restored Trump's deferred resignation program, offering federal workers 8 months of pay and benefits if they voluntarily resign. It's what's known as the fork in the road directive. Well, the judge denied the union's request to permanently block the program because the unions were not directly impacted, saying this, quote, "The unions do not have the required direct stake in the fork directive. This is not sufficient. Second, this court lacks subject matter jurisdiction to consider the plaintiff's pleaded claims." And about 75,000 federal workers have accepted the buyout deal so far.
Right there. Just that one.
Activate the statute of deportation.
Man, I can't wait to see people's faces when we come on shore. This should really get the city's positive energy flowing.
The statute of deportation has arrived in New York City. I ain't afraid of no woke.
I ain't afraid of no woke. Oh, it's really good. Oh, it's a really good meme, Jerry. Woo! Baby, okay, we are cooking this morning. So much going on. Holy moly, today is Thursday, February 13th, 2025. DOJ announces they are suing Letitia James. Oh, baby, you effed around and you found out, and it's so glorious. Along with President Trump gutting every single Biden federal prosecutor fired seconds ago at time of show. RFK's confirmation ongoing right now. We cannot wait, ladies and gentlemen. RFK, new HHS Secretary, Chairman Jim Jordan, joining our program today. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. So much to get to. Today, it's the golden era. Make sure you got yourself some gold. I got silver, actually, here in the studio. Gold in the bank account. Make sure that you are betting on your future with the single best performing asset class in 2024, 2025, 2023. This is because in times of instability, and this is going to be a fun roller coaster, the golden era, ladies and gentlemen, should bring gold to your bank account. Make sure that you are investing in precious metals and things that withstand the test of time. I've got a free gold investment guide for you to do exactly that. Text Benny to 85545. Get your free gold investment guide today. Plus, if you act now, you can qualify for $1,000 in free silver with your purchase. Right here, free silver. This is a real value you cannot ignore. One more time, Benny to 85545. Don't miss an opportunity to secure your piece of America's prosperity. Data and message rates apply. Okay, here we go. RFK's vote started at 10:30, although these schedules have been all over the map. So they've been voting since 10:30. This morning, you got RFK at 41. You got 36 no's. Of course, you got a bunch of frauds in here, like Bernie Sanders, who endorsed RFK, right? Like Bernie Sanders worked with RFK, liked RFK, all right? Like they were like buddies when Bernie was running for president. Same thing with Tulsi. Tulsi Gabbard quit the DNC for Bernie because they did Bernie dirty. How dirty did they do him? Well, we have the literal emails to show that they utterly sabotaged Bernie Sanders to make way for Hillary Clinton and what do we call it? The Suicide Squad, right? With Hillary Clinton. Nonetheless, Bernie Sanders votes against these people. Bernie Sanders voted against Tulsi Gabbard. Don't ever believe, we will never, ever again, I already told ALX this, I will not fall for the psyop of John Fetterman. John Fetterman, we have members of our team who live in Pennsylvania. John Fetterman is a psyop. Watch John Fetterman vote against RFK Jr. here. I mean, I think maybe he already has. Let me know if we got a whip count just yet. These people are total and complete frauds. Don't believe them. Don't buy into the lies. RFK Jr., however, will become your next Secretary of Health. Oh, and it'll be awesome. Forever fusing the MAGA and the MAGA movements together into the most powerful political juggernaut we've ever seen in our lives. And President Trump is wielding that power in incredible fashion. We're going to get to all of it today and want to very briefly show you why I care so very much about the nomination of RFK Jr. for HHS Secretary. This is a photo of, and here's your family moment, Johnson family moment from the day. Here's a photo of my son this morning. This is baby Whitaker. He's 3 weeks old. This as of today, he's 3 weeks old. Born on Inauguration Day, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we called him our golden boy. And he's got golden hair, got golden skin, and he's got that golden look in his eye. And baby Whitaker is ready for daddy to help save this country and preserve it for him and for every child right now. This is my motivation. And it's most likely yours. Are you a parent? Are you a grandparent? Do you want to be parents someday? If you do, then you have it in your heart that it is a moral obligation for us to leave the country a better place for our children. It is the legitimate driver of this program. I have 4 kids now, and I want to be a generation that leaves America better and hands it off. That's like an inheritance I'm going to leave for my kids. Is that something that's happening right now? You know, has Mitch McConnell left America better than when he found it in the 30s when he was born? I don't think so, actually. I think Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden, their demo, has done everything they can to demo this nation. And I think you can make a very strong argument that Joe Biden, who was born before World War II, right, has done everything in his power to ensure that this country actually crumbles and is not recognizable compared to the country that he inherited. He didn't do anything to earn it. He just inherited this great country. He did everything he can to strip mine it actually for his own benefit and then destroy it on his way out. So we're not going to do that. And neither is RFK. And that's why this guy rings like a bell, man. RFK Jr., in one of the most profound moments of the 2024 campaign, saying the reason why I want to do this is because we need to love our children more than we hate each other. I'm not trying to play the oldies here, but it's worthwhile listening to somebody speaking from a point of moral clarity. We hear it so little these days. Let's go.
President Trump has told me that he wants this to be his legacy. I'm choosing to believe that this time he will follow through. His son, his biggest donors, his closest friends, and all support this objective. My joining the Trump campaign will be a difficult sacrifice for my wife and children, but worthwhile if there's even a small chance of saving these kids. Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country and our children is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other. That's why I launched my campaign to unify America. My dad and uncle made such an enduring mark on the character of our nation, not so much because of any particular policies that they promoted, but because they were able to inspire profound love for our country and to fortify our sense of ourselves as a national community held together by ideals. They were able to put their love into the intentions and hearts of ordinary Americans and to unify a national populist movement of Americans, blacks and whites, Hispanics, urban and rural Americans. They inspired affection and love and high hopes and a culture of kindness that continue to radiate among Americans from their memory. That's the spirit on which I ran my campaign and that I intend to bring into the campaign of President Trump. Instead of vitriol and polarization, I will appeal to the values that unite us.
Now, at the time that this happened, which was mid-August in 2024, every person in my timeline, ladies, let's put up the Senate vote right now. Is RFK at 50? Let's check real fast. Every individual in my timeline, can we get a cleaner, please, full screen here? Said that RFK was being played for a fool and that Donald Trump would not allow RFK in his cabinet. That RFK was being taken advantage of and his political movement was being taken advantage of. Some of the people that were saying this or musing this were very close with RFK's wife. RFK's wife is a Hollywood celebrity, a very prominent actress in some big, obviously some very important and big and funny series. Curb Your Enthusiasm is one that comes to mind. Everyone said that Donald Trump was rolling RFK, and this is President Trump making good on his promise. You can see right here on screen, 50 votes for RFK. We need one more vote. John Fetterman, the fraud, John Frauderman, has voted no on RFK Jr. Just in case you're wondering, Pennsylvania, how MAGA John Fetterman is, on every single cabinet secretary that counts, where it took like a scintilla of courage to actually vote for them, John Fetterman has betrayed President Trump, stabbed him right in the back. John Fetterman is going to run as though he's some type of like deep moderate. He actually loves MAGA. He loves the working class. Nope, he is a fraud. We need one more vote. J.D. Vance is still abroad. He's in Europe right now. He's going to be negotiating. It's not like he's on vacation. He's not the mayor of Los Angeles in Africa while her city burns. He is negotiating peace in Ukraine. It's going to be in Munich. And so this is like all the more valuable, but all the more reason that we must have RFK. We need one more vote for RFK to get him confirmed. 50 won't do it. We must have 51. Another 53 Republicans. So the math is going to work out, and they wouldn't have brought this vote to the floor unless the math did work out. Speaking about working out, RFK Jr. does it every single morning. In fact, there are various people in Washington, D.C. that says that RFK Jr. has been like working out at their gym. members of our staff. RFK Jr. then prays every single morning. This is what he prays for. This is why we support RFK Jr.
I started working on this issue 19 years ago. And for 19 years, I have got every morning, without one exception, I have said a prayer to God to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic. And on August 23rd of this year, God sent me Donald J. Trump.
They said that RFK was going to be lied to. They said he was going to get rolled. They said that RFK Jr. was going to be betrayed and backstabbed by Donald Trump, that Donald Trump would never appoint him to anything. He would never get his opportunity to live out his prayer. God sent me Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to witness live here with us is the answer to a prayer. RFK Jr. is already having an outsized effect on... There it is! There it is! 51! There you go! 51! You just saw it happen live! Boom! RFK Jr. officially the HHS secretary here in this country, making America healthy again at Health and Human Services. RFK Jr. is your man. Donald Trump wins again. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Let's do it. Boom, baby. All right. Very excited about this. They're already banning food dyes, the big food and agriculture industries that keep us consistently sick because they're owned by the same people that own the pharmaceutical companies, and they play off of the torturing of the American citizen that gets bankrolled by the federal government, by the way, through Medicaid, Medicare, and a bunch of other food stuff. Here's like a good example. Did you know that half of Coca-Cola's revenue stream comes from the feds? What? Coca-Cola and capitalism in America and Santa Claus and polar bears drinking Coke at Christmas. What do you mean? Well, Coca-Cola is available on WIC and on food stamps and for schools, school lunches. You're available, the Coke products that get sold, for every one that you buy, another one's being bought on a government stamp. So do you think it's like an incentive? Do you think it incentivizes Coca-Cola to keep that gravy train flowing? Do you think there's any incentive for Coke to make a healthier product or a better product? No, man. These systems must change. You wonder why Americans are the sickest and most diseased. We should be the single healthiest people on earth, the apex of human vitality, with the amount of knowledge and the amount of gifts from heaven in this nation, like so much soil that grows good food, good fruit, grains, places to raise meat, poultry, and cows, and like eat healthy and eat good and live without like the toxins in our life. Ladies and gentlemen, brand new at HHS. Here we go. Welcome. This is what Dr. Fauci saw this morning in the small hours of the morning, staring through his window in Bethesda. Ladies and gentlemen, RFK made, and we're very excited for RFK, but we have so much to get to on the show. RFK made quick work of the frauds. Talk about the fraudulence and the exposing of the system. He's already done it. So food companies are already rushing to ban poisons in our food. And what was it? It was red dye number 5? Red dye 40? Was that it? You got to forgive me because I'm not one of these Maha like health influencers. I wish, right? Red dye number 3. Okay. We had Nicole Shanahan on the program. She was talking all about it. RFK has already served as an incredible foil for these frauds in Washington, D.C. and how the system works by exposing how they're all getting paid off. It's incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, RFK going directly at Bernie and at Elizabeth Warren for their big pharma money dollars. Let's go.
Assure the American people that you will fight to do what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to every single American.
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
And
protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would come. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money
from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were the
not a nickel from corporate PACs.
You were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but you have not answered. Last question. You have not.
They're so used to you're such a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur looking at the meteorite hitting the planet. What's that? They don't understand. They're extinct. They don't. Bernie doesn't get that. Like, we can go into these records now. He doesn't have the layer of protection from the corporate media to lie for him anymore. They're now totally exposed as the fossils that they are. Completely exposed. We were able to, in real time during these hearings, go through their financial records and show how much big pharma dollars went pouring into the coffers of Bernie Sanders. We've been doing this with USAID. We've been doing this, obviously, with, and there's some very neat things that have been happening, the Department of Energy, the EPA, clawing back billions of dollars that were squandered and funneled and squirreled away. Every morning is Christmas morning. We're able to bring more exposure to the corruption of the actual system. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are these two individuals who've held themselves up as this righteous populist voice, yet both are the number one recipients for big pharmaceutical dollars, big fat Pfizer stamp right on their pasty white asses. Ladies and gentlemen, they were called out to their faces. It's just so glorious. I don't mean to belabor this point, but we're so excited about it. Here we go. Here's RFK Jr. doing a number on Warren.
Commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member.
Can you just repeat the last part of the question? Can I commit?
You're not going to take money from drug companies in any way, shape, or form.
Who? Me?
Yes, you.
Oh. I'm happy to commit to that.
Okay, good. That's what I figured. I said it's an easy question to start with. And I think you're right on this.
I don't think any of them want to give me money, by the way.
Let's keep.
This is RFK. ALX, this is RFK Jr. saying, you want me to refuse to sue vaccine manufacturers. That's the clip we need. That's the clip we need. Because what Elizabeth Warren ended up doing in her questioning of RFK Jr. was saying, you won't sue my biggest donors, right? I want you to guarantee you're not going to sue my largest donors. It was like the biggest mask-off moment I've seen in my life in Washington, D.C. You're not going to sue my biggest donors, right? Please tell me. I beg of you. And this is what was the biggest firework in all of these hearings. RFK Jr. had to do multiple days, 7-hour hearings each day. This was without question the largest firework right here. RFK Jr. exposing Elizabeth Warren, saying, please don't sue my biggest donors. And he's saying, you're just being a pack mule right now for Big Pharma. That's what you're seeing right now, live, ladies and gentlemen. It's so amazing. Watch.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You have said
you're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturers.
And then she goes right into her written statement. You're telling me not to sue the vaccine companies, but you're funded by the vaccine companies. So this just seems like you're bought and paid for. Oh, it's just glorious. And what did we see earlier this week? We had Nick Sotor on, who was saying that Elizabeth Warren and her staff elbowed him for just asking about this. Now, Elizabeth Warren has been hounded through the halls of Congress asking about the vaccine manufacturer money that she hoovers up just there and be their little toadies on the stand. 52 votes. Look at that. Well done. 52. Has any Republican voted against RFK?
It is confirmed.
Boom! There it is. Perfect timing, Brian.
Just number 4.
There we go.
But just number 4. Under the previous order, the motion to reconsider is considered made and laid upon the table, and the president will be immediately notified of the Senate's action. Under the previce order, the cloture motion with respect to the Rollins nomination is withdrawn. The clerk will report the Rollins.
McConnell voted no on. Oh my gosh. McConnell voted no again. All right. Well, there you go. McConnell voting no once more on RFK. He's voted no on Hegseth. He voted no on Tulsi. What a cancer on the party. A senator texted me, said, oh, Mitch McConnell is a cancer on our party. A cancer. But now these people, they can't escape. Elizabeth Warren cannot escape. People asking questions. Why did you get so rich? Elon Musk asking the other day, posting the net worth of Elizabeth Warren. How are you so rich, lady? You're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Why are you so wealthy? Nick Sotor is here trying to ask a question of Elizabeth Warren, gets physically elbowed by Warren. This is how rattled they are right now. Suddenly the layers of protection they've enjoyed this. Think about it as like a room that they put an insane person in with like all the padding all over the place, right? They've enjoyed this like soft, cozy, padded room built for them by the corporate press and by their donors. And the corporate press, of course, is funded by Big Pharma. So you create these fake populists like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. You shove all your pharma cash into their bank accounts, and then they go and say it's the populist stance to defend the sickening of America, the destruction of this nation by destroying Americans' health. And then when asked questions about it and called out on it, they freak out. And they behave violently like they did here. Why?
So Senator Warren, why are you so afraid of transparency? Why are you bothered by the fact that Elon Musk is attempting to expose all of this fraudulent spending? What is that about? What is the problem here? What is the problem with transparency? Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Senator Warren, I just want to answer a question. How did you get a $12 million net worth on a $200,000 salary in Congress? How did you do that?
Excuse me.
How did you do that? You can keep trying to block my camera. We're on a public sidewalk, so... Get off of me. So you don't want to answer that question. What is it about Doge that's such a problem to you? You just elbowed me, Senator. I got that on camera.
Nick was on the show earlier in the week. It was great. Elon Musk openly questioning, how did these senators get so rich? How did they do it? Where's all the money coming from exactly? These are the kind of questions that really do destroy the old world. The dinosaurs looking up at the meteorite going, huh? What? Where's it go? Huh? How do we go extinct exactly? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a glorious era. RFK got every single vote except for Mitch McConnell. Oh, it's grotesque, and it's just sickening. Mitch McConnell, what an abomination. Okay, we're going to move on to all of the breaking news because we have Jim Jordan coming up on the program, and we have to get, ladies and gentlemen, to all of the, the laws of physics. You shouldn't break the law, but you definitely shouldn't break the laws of physics. The laws of physics dictate that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction of equal or greater force. ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have an equal and opposite reaction to the lawfare that they've leveled against Donald Trump. Now, there was a lady named Letitia James. Letitia James is the Attorney General of New York. Letitia James has regularly used her position to brag about how she is going to get Trump. This is something very strange for a prosecutor to say, given the fact that Trump hadn't been charged with any crimes, given the fact that Trump hadn't seen the inside of a courthouse ever. Yet she's the top law enforcement official in the state that Trump is a resident in. It's like an insane thing, like on prima facie, it's like totally evil. But Letitia James, who is, of course, funded by George Soros, funded by USAID, I'm sure, made it her singular life's goal. And whenever you get somebody who's super low IQ in a position like Jasmine Crockett or AOC, these things come with strings, right? USAID spawned AOC. Like AOC worked for USAID, so it's an important understanding of what that was all about, right? That organization, so they also spawned Liz Cheney, right? It comes with strings. They don't just let dumb people into Congress without them being totally controlled and owned. All right? Things could go really bad for them. So when you get an AOC in Congress, when you get someone like Letitia James, clearly low IQ, right? Very low information, very helmet wearing, very short bus kind of individual. When you get those kind of people into positions of power, the people who've put them in those positions expect them to dance and to perform. And what happened was Letitia James, as we lovingly call her, Big Tish was given orders. And those orders were, you are going to immediately start to prosecute Trump. For what crime? Don't know. We're going to go find out. And lucky for us, like people always do, like the dumbest people always do, Tish James just straight up said it. Here we go.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president when our fundamental rights are at stake. I believe that the president of these United States can be indicted for criminal offenses.
Will you sue him for us? Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the He's going to know my name personally.
That man in the White House who can't go a day without threatening our fundamental rights.
Yes, we need to focus on Donald Trump and his abuses. We need to follow his money. We need to find out where he's laundered money. We need to find out whether or not he's engaged in conspiracy. It's important that everyone understand that the days of Donald Trump are coming to an end.
I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, defending your rights, and then going home.
I'm going to go into the office every day. I'm going to sue him. That's what she said. This was her running for Attorney General. This is what she said. I mean, listen, say what you will about evil people, at least, and dumb people, but at least they kind of tell you exactly what they're going to do. There's no subtlety there. So Tish James, Big Tish, first off, wasn't very popular to begin with. Now, this is before Donald Trump was elected. Big Tish getting booed.
Oh, come on, we're in a house of God. First, simmer down. I want to thank Commissioner Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for that recognition.
Trump. Those firefighters, such badasses. This was before Trump was elected. Big Tish getting booed from the rafters by the FDNY, and then they chanted Trump at her. And then she turned around and started investigating the firefighters to find out who did that. Oh. Now this is Big Tish on the eve of President Trump's first day as president-elect. You can see someone is clearly shook. These are in the hours after Donald Trump's landslide victory. Big Tish, big trouble.
We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this result. We faced this challenge before, and we used the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight back once again.
Once again. Good luck. It looks like you could hardly fight your way into a Dunkin' Donuts. And it looks like you might be fighting your way out of a... Haters will say it's AI. Whew, man. Definitely the last thing you see before you have some type of crisis. Constitutional crisis? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe I've tried. I mean, she does. I will give you this. She does look exactly like Grimace from McDonald's. She does look. I think there's some side-by-sides. She looks just like Grimace. All right, and that's a warm memory from my childhood. Letitia James is going to be hoping for some warm memories because what's happening right now is the predictions that were made on this program are all coming true. Now, we pride ourselves not in being particularly high IQ or anything like that. Like, I didn't go to the Ivy Leagues, as always, went to community college. We just pay attention, right? We bring on smart people. And by pattern recognition and by speaking with the right smart individuals, again, Jim Jordan will be on our program in just a moment, we're able to tell you what's about to happen. When you watch the show, you'll get smarter. You'll be able to predict the future in a way, right? And so we were prophets in this one moment because, ladies and gentlemen, about 2 months ago, actually, we made a lot of news and got some people in a lot of hot water by inviting Mike Davis on the show. We asked Mike Davis what would happen to Tish James when President Trump is sworn into office and when he gets his team in office, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, so on. And Mike had this to say.
Just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General. I dare you. I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights, and I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
We've been warning people on the show, Mike. This isn't the same Trump administration. Stop messing around. Don't rig elections. Don't illegally vote. Don't try the funny business, because we know the team this time and they are not effing around. Well, turns out that there is an equal and opposite reaction. Ladies and gentlemen, the laws of our country, much like the laws of physics, shouldn't be broken. DOJ announces massive lawsuit against New York Kathy Hochul and Big Tish James. Boom, baby. Boom. Pam Bondi yesterday announcing that she's going to sue the state of New York for breaking federal law, being a sanctuary state. There's no such thing as a sanctuary state, right? You know how stupid that is? Like the entire concept. You know how dumb that is? It's federal law we don't want to follow. So we're just going to declare ourselves a sanctuary from, the First Amendment? From what? Like the Second Amendment? Like, can you do that? That's not how a constitutional republic works. You can be a sanctuary if you leave America. So all these libs that want to live in sanctuary states can go to Nicaragua, where there is no U.S. Constitution. You can have sanctuary down there. Have a great time. When you live in America, you're bound by the laws of this nation, and so there's no such thing as a sanctuary state. It's all fake. Weak Republicans, who are frauds, act like it's real, and that gives them power. But there is no such thing as a sanctuary state. It's all illegal. Just like there's no such thing as a legal migrant They're not migrants, they're criminal aliens. Please use the correct terminology. They broke our laws coming here. And if somebody comes to your house and the first thing they do is smash your window to get in, there's a good chance that they're not going to follow the rest of the rules of the house. So it's best to just eject them from your home out the front door. So, ladies and gentlemen, announced yesterday, Pam Bondi says she is suing Big Tish based on Letitia James liberating criminal aliens, which is against federal law. Let's go.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. As you know, we sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. So now you're next. Millions of illegal aliens with violent records have flooded into our communities, bringing violence and deadly drugs with them.
With me today, I'm so proud to be joined by Tammy Nobles. Tammy is an angel mom. Her beautiful daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered by an MS-13 member in 2022. Kayla had just turned 20 years old, and she was raped and murdered by someone who should not have been in our country. Yet, he was released, flown to Maryland, where he committed this violent murder. I just want you to...
You see that look in her eyes? Can we get like a screenshot of Pam Bondi? It's like a look in her eyes that I want to like, because we know Pam Bondi and because she's our neighbor down here and because she's worked with us on the show and because I freaking love Pam Bondi. I want to like just inform you of this very specific look in Pam Bondi's eyes. Right there. That's the one. You're effed. If you see this, you're cooked. This is the same look in Pam Bondi's eyes that she had when she was pushing for and passing the single strictest child predator execution law in all of America. Do you know that Florida has the single highest number of families visiting as family units of any state in America? You'd say, well, Disney World, Universal Studios, Busch Gardens, there's a lot of like nice things to see in Florida. Totally. Yep, there are. Yeah, please zoom in on that. Thank you. I'll show you what ICE looks like. Given that, if you are a child predator here, you're going to, let's just say, sorry to be macabre, you're going to have a lot of targets because there's families constantly coming here with all their kids. Some of them drive, some of them fly. There's family units everywhere. If you're a child predator in this state, there's going to be a lot of like opportunities for you because of the amount of families coming here. So there better be some damn good deterrence. What you're looking at right here is the lady that passed for the first time in American history, in the modern era, the single strictest, harshest, guaranteed lethal execution or electric chair for child predators. You harm a child, you die in this state. Got it? It's pretty easy. Harm a child, death. Got it? Now, in a moral society, everybody would say, thanks. And that's why I live here, in fact, actually, to be perfectly honest with you. Laws like that. So let me tell you what. If you see this, you're cooked. If you see this, you're cooked. How is she 60? Can I just, how is she, I mean, I'm paraphrasing my wife here. How is she 60? Also, please let me show you how much she supports ICE. Let's get a good look at that ring. I think this lady supports ICE. Let me tell you, she's a big personal supporter of ICE. So you done effed up. I'll take one more little deviation here, but I think it's for good purpose and for common cause. At a Trump rally, I had a member of Laken Riley's family come up to me. They didn't want to do any media. Laken Riley's family comes up to me. We've gotten to know Laken Riley's family, Corey Compertore's family. We want to do some bigger things with them. These are families that are like, obviously, they've experienced horrible death brought about by the Biden administration and their criminal lack of care or concern for American people. Corey Compertore was killed protecting his family in the Butler rally, and Laken Riley was murdered. Could these deaths of great Americans have been preventable? Absolutely. We talk a lot about the assassination, but let's just very quickly dive into Laken Riley's murder. The individual who killed Laken Riley, if I could get his mugshot up here, this individual is legal from Venezuela, a member of a Venezuelan prison gang. This individual had a rap sheet 18 felonies long. Do you know where those felonies occurred? New York! Sorry, I get a little hot under the collar with these things. This demon monster, animal, kept committing felonies, violent felonies, in the state of New York. New York, instead of imprisoning this criminal alien, loosed him again and again and again. He committed crimes against children. He committed crimes against women. He committed crimes against tax-paying citizens. He committed crimes against Americans. They kept releasing him. Letitia James kept loosing him on the American public, begging him to do more. Kill, go, you animal. Letitia James is a demon. She literally wanted the death of Laken Riley and is personally culpable. Because of the broken immigration system, this individual should have never been in the country. I would like to get illegal criminal alien immigration down to 0. But given the fact that he was in the country, at the very least, lock him up when he commits crime after crime after crime after crime. What did New York do? What did the state of New York do? They sent him to Georgia. Instead of locking him up, they sent him somewhere else to go kill. Maybe a place that's like nicer. Maybe a place that's like that would be easier for him to find a victim. And he did. This is Laken Riley. She was a nursing student. Hits home. I met my wife when she was in nursing school. And so when Pam Bondi sues the state of New York, this is what she's suing. Understand, please, like what she's doing is she's stopping New York from literally deporting the criminal aliens that they hoovered up in order to try and rig their elections, deporting them to your hometown where you live in probably some peaceful hamlet. I like Tampa. I live in Tampa. I think it's very nice in Tampa. New York's going to send their garbage, their criminals to Tampa. They deport them down here to go commit crimes here. They take the worst of the worst. Instead of locking them up, they send them to us. And in this instance, murder. So that is why New York must be sued. That's what's at stake here. And that's why we're so excited about this. It's going to have a bombshell effect on this entire wretched system. As Jonathan Turley indicates here, very smart, astute political analyst, New York's in big trouble. Let's go.
The federal government has a strong case here, particularly with regard to one of the provisions in that law, which is a tip-off provision. And under the law, if the federal government makes an inquiry into a suspected illegal alien, that person is then notified by New York and given a heads up. Mm-hmm. And the feds have said, well, what are you doing? I mean, we're making an inquiry because we may want to apprehend this person, and you're giving them a chance to abscond. And that's more than refusing to cooperate with federal enforcement. That's actually frustrating federal enforcement. So this is going to trigger a ferocious legal battle. The state on its side can argue that this violates what's called the anti-commandeering doctrine. And that's a line of cases that says that the federal government cannot commandeer or require the state to carry out federal policies or programs. Now, that's based on states' rights. But this is a very murky area because, as you can tell from those sound bites, Illinois and New York is actively trying to frustrate federal enforcement. And so the federal government's going to court and throwing a flag on this play and saying, you know, you're not allowed to do that. This is not commandeering. This is obstruction on your part.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're in trouble. You're also in trouble if you're able to put together a class action lawsuit, which little birdies tell me, some of the most prominent lawyers in the country communicating with this program, you may or may not have seen them on the program, saying that there are real class action lawsuits that are being put together by Americans who have suffered and died under Joe Biden's immigration policies to extract some real pain from the cretinous law enforcement officials that have allowed this scourge on the nation. Very, very dangerous time right now for open borders advocates and for those who did it for what? For what? Not the gain of this country, not for social harmony, not to create higher trust in our society. This certainly did none of those things. Not to do anything good for the nation. It was like literally to try and erode Western civilization, to destabilize this country for their own political gain. That is the only reason for open borders. That was the reason. We caught them while they were doing it. And now they're in trouble, deep trouble. The fallout from this is going to be extraordinary. So the federal government's suing. It's always very dangerous when the federal government sues you because they have what is effectively unlimited resources to destroy you. New York is already cripplingly bankrupt. And so they're now going to stand on principle with these policies that have murdered Americans. Good luck with that. Bold strategy, Cotton. See how it plays out for you. Speaking of playing out, I don't want to move past this without getting to a very specific point in all of this, which is that Letitia James does look like Grimace. We've done the actual math on this, and we've gone and we've searched it out. I can show it to you, okay? I can describe it to you. First off here, this is proof, once and for all, that she looks like, okay, so this is, no, go to the original, please. Please. This is not the original. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so everybody saw this photo of Letitia James and said, yes, she does look like Grimace. Maybe she looks like the girl from the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? That got turned into a blueberry, and she just got turned into a raspberry, right? Instead, a magical candy man turned her into a raspberry. I've consistently said it's Grimace, and this is her in the Grimace outfit to just show you how easy this transition is. Go. There you go. Look, it just doesn't get any easier than that, right? I wouldn't buy a hamburger from this individual at all. In fact, this individual needs to go see RFK immediately. You're getting way too many food dyes. But it does look like Donald Trump agrees with us on this front. I have it on good authority that this is not a Photoshop. Donald Trump putting this photo up on Trump Force One for all to see. Okay? This is what's prosecuting me? This? She's gonna be the one that puts me in jail? No, I don't think so. I think maybe the opposite, in fact. The laws of physics will prevail. And the laws of physics are showing that this equal and opposite reaction is going to be quite devastating for the state of New York. Will the mayor of New York go MAGA? Feds have dropped the entire case against Eric Adams. It was a totally fraudulent case. It was insane. He took like upgrades on a flight. Okay. All right. Like, have you looked inward? Has anybody checked as to how Pelosi and Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren, how they got so rich? You're going to go after Eric Adams for getting some upgrades? Okay. They dropped all those charges against Eric Adams. Now, people in the know are saying that Eric Adams may flip MAGA. Very interested to hear about this. Jim Jordan will be joining us in just a second. Can't wait to talk with him about it. Here we go.
Trump wants to get Letitia James and Alvin Bragg. That's what this story is all about. Nothing else there. He went after Illinois because he wants to get Pritzker. Hates him. And the way to do that is to deny the states of Illinois and New York the federal grant money. The New York Post reports today $8 billion is going to get held up by the Justice Department that would have flowed into New York State, which is running an astronomical deficit here. Okay? So the easiest way to do this is to file civil suits against the governor and the attorney general. Then the question was, why is the mayor of New York left out? Because he doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. Trump wants to get Letitia James. Hochul is just an ornament. Doesn't have any bad feeling toward Hochul, Trump. But Adams, the deal that was made, I don't know what Adams is giving Trump. I have to tell the audience up front. I don't know, and I don't use anonymous sources, but I have gotten call after call after call that said, and all of these people have agendas who are calling me. They all have agendas, all right? And they're saying that Adams knows where the bodies are buried with James and Bragg. Just throwing it out.
Got a phone call the other night from someone in Chicago. We're in Chicago pretty often, from around there. And they told me that Rod Blagojevich is planning on running for mayor of Chicago. The exact same story. President Trump just pardoned Rod Blagojevich. He commuted his sentence, then he pardoned him. Trump is trying to flip America's biggest cities red. Do you understand this play? Do you understand like the dimensions that we're living in right now in the golden era? He's trying to flip Mayor Adams to MAGA. Now, my entire timeline this morning is the mayor of New York may switch parties to Republican and run again in 26 as a Republican. It's happened in your lifetime and mine. Mayor Rudy Giuliani was a Republican, most popular mayor in New York City history, actually. He's going to do the same. Trump's going to do the same play with Chicago, where both cities, Trump owns skyscrapers. He's going to try and save America's great cities. Oh, it's an exciting moment, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody who's wrestled in Chicago, somebody who knows that city well, knows the Midwest, knows Chicago's just a great city. Might pain him to say so because he's from Ohio, but he's also a man who knows justice. He's the great chairman, Jim Jordan, who's on the show live now. Mr. Chairman, just exciting moment. We're brimming. We're brimming with excitement. It's really an unbelievable timeline that we're living in. You've been on the show for years, Mr. Chairman, like saying that this might be what happens if we get Trump elected. You've got to be whistling Dixie this morning.
Well, yeah, it is an exciting time, and we've never seen a president with this kind of focus, intensity, just this kind of effort to just do what he told the voters he was going to do, whether it's Elon Musk working for the president on this Doge effort and identifying all the ridiculous spending or the things you're talking about. But this is a great idea. How about the leaders of these cities, instead of being sanctuary cities, you actually have a mayor who's going to stop the crazy crime that takes place in all our major urban areas, who's going to focus on helping the citizens with their better education system and everything else. How about people like that? I think that's what President Trump wants. Versus, we're going to be a sanctuary city. We're going to not comply with federal law enforcement who are executing the law. We're going to be try to stop them and prevent them from doing their job. I think that's the kind of focus that people want, and frankly, people in those cities want. And President Trump is trying to help make that come about.
Yes. So, okay, something that we haven't gotten to on the show just yet is the news that President Trump has fired now all Joe Biden federal prosecutors. These are some of the people who've been a major thorn in your paw, leading the Judiciary Committee. Your take on this? It's got to be welcome, but I don't think we've ever seen action like this before. Certainly not in Trump's first term.
Well, this is real basic. We want a Justice Department that actually gets back to the fundamental principle: equal treatment under the law. We don't want a Justice Department like we had under the Biden-Garland administration, where they're political. And we know Jack Smith was totally political. We know what was going on with some of the political prosecutions of folks on January, who were here on January 6th, who may have inadvertently stepped across some line and then they get prosecuted. So we know that kind of attitude out there. And what I think President Trump and the people of the Justice Department are doing is saying, no, we're going to focus on equal treatment under the law, applying the law the way it's supposed to be applied, not politics. And that is welcome. And frankly, that's what the American people voted for, because they saw how political that place had become, and the lawfare activity against the guy who was our nominee for president, who got 77 million votes and is now president of the United States, against President Trump. And so I think it's welcome by the people and a good thing for following our Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, Pam Bondi, very much like a wrecking ball. Did you hear the reports that she tore down portrait of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris?
I did.
And what was it, Merrick Garland, right?
Yeah.
That she personally did that. There's now multiple credible reports that she did it herself and stacked them in the trash.
The other thing is, the first day on the job, she issues a memorandum, and the second page of that memorandum, she's talked about this committee to look at the weaponization of government, and particularly the Justice Department. And she goes bullet point by bullet point, and it's all things we had been focused on and investigating over the last Congress. And it was so refreshing. In fact, I told Pam that. I said, this is so good, that memorandum you put out and the intensity and focus you are bringing to equal treatment under the law, again, is exactly what the American people wanted.
So the criticism of this is going to be, oh, you can't take away all the prosecutors. What will happen? Who will prosecute the crime? They've been doing the same thing with the FBI, right? With the of the elimination of those individuals who, as you mentioned, January 6th, were going after innocent Americans. What's the counterbalance to that, right? Because that's the open criticism right now.
Yeah, the FBI. Take the FBI for an example, Benny. About $12 billion budget at the FBI. More than half of that money is spent on counterintelligence, intelligence, surveillance. I mean, basically, looking and surveilling the American people. More than half of the budget, half the personnel. I think the American people would kind of like an FBI that's probably focused more on traditional crime, but organized crime, gang activity, money laundering, all the stuff that we typically think the FBI's child exploitation, everything else, focusing on stopping that stuff versus spying on the American people. So that's, I think, the kind of focus you're going to see from Kash Patel when he gets confirmed and heads the FBI. That's what we want, and that's what I think American people want. So that's the change that I think needs to take place and is going to take place under Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, who will be Deputy Attorney General, and of course Kash Patel at the FBI.
I think that the changes shook quite a few people. We weren't expecting the Letitia James gets sued by the Justice Department on like day 3. We weren't expecting that, and it's like refreshing, actually, because sanctuary states are illegal. I mean, they should be illegal, right? Like you don't have a right to just defy federal law. You can't just do that. You just choose. You're not going to. There's no First Amendment here, right? It's like we're Oregon. Like that's not how it works, actually.
Yeah, and the situation that I think both Tom Homan and Pam Bondi have talked about, where it looks like sometimes people are tipping off the bad guys, the people with a criminal background who Tom Homan is coming in to rightfully repatriate out of the country, repatriate back to their home country, and they're getting tipped off in it. And I think Tom Homan said it looks like it may have been an FBI agent who did that. Well, you can't do that. That's like helping the bad guys when and endangering law enforcement members potentially. So that when you're doing these kind of things, I think criminal prosecution should be something that's definitely in play.
And it wouldn't be treason, like you're acting against federal law enforcement and you're helping out the criminals. It's like crazy.
You're not supposed to help the bad guys, and if you do, you're probably in trouble. And we should probably prosecute people who do those things.
All right, let's talk about your potential prosecutions. Let's talk about your potential investigations. What do we have coming up on the Judiciary Committee? It's a target-rich environment, I think we'd call it.
Yeah. Well, one thing on the censorship front, we think we've had a huge impact there in stopping big government and big tech and other federal government agencies and universities all working together, what Michael Schellenberger called the censorship industrial complex. We think we've really scaled that back into protecting the First Amendment. But right now what's happening is in foreign countries, they're using their laws to pressure tech companies to censor Americans. And so we're going to see if there's a way we can put some pressure on these foreign countries to, one example would be if you're involved in any way censoring Americans, you shouldn't be able to get a visa and come to the country. If you're one of these foreign dignitaries who likes to come to the United States, everyone likes to come here. So that's a piece of legislation one of our members has that we'll look at passing. And then on the oversight thing, we still think there's a look back that needs to happen with David Weiss, who was going to give the sweetheart deal to Hunter Biden. We still think we don't have answers on, who planted the pipe bombs on January 6th, who leaked the Dobbs opinion, who put cocaine at the White House, for goodness sake. I think the American people like to know those things. And they'd also like to know about what the Garland Justice Department was doing when they said, if you're a pro-life Catholic, you're an extremist, or if you're a mom and dad at a school board meeting, we're going to investigate you. So we're going to look back at all that stuff and get answers for the American people.
I'd love to get an answer on something that crossed our timeline. Some of your colleagues, Tom Tillis in the Senate, was actually in front of an ad. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. He was in front of an ad that had an X over Elon Musk, and it said, "We must eliminate Elon Musk." We'll pull up the ad here and we'll pop it up on screen because it was, I thought, there's no way. Here it is. There's no way. It's like, it's got to be a meme, right? But no, it's real. And here's your colleague, Republican in the Senate, saying, this is allegedly, we're looking into who's funding this, but like help eliminate Elon Musk with a cross over his face and a USAID logo on the bottom. And this is being, of course, you can't just advertise. Somebody has to approve these advertisements.
Right.
Who's approving these advertisements exactly? It looks like an open threat against a member of the administration. This is insane.
Yeah. Again, Democrats will attack the guy who's exposing the stupid spending instead of trying to stop the stupid spending. It makes no sense to me. And they're over the last 2 weeks, it's been one theme, one message from the Democrats: go after Elon Musk, even though the president told us, as we've said before, told us that when he was running for the job, I'm going to have Elon Musk head up this Doge group who's going to go through agency by agency in the federal government, identify stupid things we're spending taxpayer money on. And when he identifies those things, the Democrat says, "Oh, we got to get rid of Elon Musk." What? That makes no sense. I think, again, we're the party of common sense, as the president always says. I think the American people see this as good common sense governance and are not going to be supportive of the left who continues to attack Elon Musk. I think he's doing the Lord's work. I know he did when he bought Twitter. Remember what he said when he bought Twitter? He said, I didn't spend $44 billion to buy Twitter. I spent $44 billion to save the First Amendment and free speech, for goodness sake. And he's been an integral part of the effort to protect the First Amendment. And now he's going to try to protect us from having these bureaucrats who think they're smarter than you and I and all your viewers and listeners, think they're smarter than the rest of us, protect us from the stupid things they want to spend our money on.
So it'd be nice. It'd be nice to close down the government caves. Didn't know that feds on tricycles in limestone caves was how retirements were processed. Did you know that, Congressman?
I did not. I did not know that.
It's an exciting thing
that
we learned this week.
I didn't know we were spending money for some trans comic perform opera or whatever in Ireland. I didn't know we were spending money to put Bert and Ernie and Big Bird on Baghdad TV. And you're like, what the heck?
It's true.
What the heck? It's crazy.
It's true.
But no. It's not that. That's not the problem. The problem is Elon Musk. That makes no sense. No sense to the folks I get the privilege of representing in the 4th District of Ohio. They're on Elon Musk's side.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, just since we name dropped it, if you would please allow us, here's a photo of the special tricycles. These are tricycles that the feds drive around. They ride around on them all day. We pay them salaries and then massive retirement pensions to ride around on tricycles all day inside of the caverns of an old limestone man to handle retirement paperwork by hand and store them in boxes. This is what we pay for in the era of AI.
Go figure.
Okay.
Go figure. Yeah.
In conclusion, we did hear from somebody I know that you're very close with, James Comer and Anna Paulina Luna, this past week. They've both been on the program, and then we covered live their announcement of sort of a massive declassification operation. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're in favor of that. You've often been on the show talking about it. Can you give us kind of an update? Is this even something that is feasible? You've held up the black line paper before. You've come on the program and held up like these just black ink blots. Like what's to give us any hope that we'll be able to punch past that?
I think the main hope is in the White House. President Trump has indicated he wants the American people to have transparency and understand what happened with some of these situations with the tragic assassination of JFK and other issues. So let's get the facts out there. If our government has information, we're going to work with in the area of the Justice Department. We're going to work with Pam and Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, and Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, and Cash to get information on things, as I said before, that we think the American people still have questions about. So we want to get those answers, and the same with Chairman Comer and Representative Anna Paulina Luna. They want to get answers to the American people. So the more you can focus in on it. I mean, we're seeing this with Elon Musk. There have been organizations who've highlighted the stupid spending in the past. Citizens Against Government Waste has done good work over the last 40 years, highlighting the pork book and all the stupid spending. But when you have an intense focus, and it was an element of the campaign in a presidential race, that's when you can really highlight it and you get the media attention and the focus of the American people. That's when you can make a difference. So any effort that adds to the attention and focus on an issue helps us get the answers. And that's what Chairman Comer and Representative Anna Paulina Luna are up to.
Don't understand it. I say it probably once a show. Why does our federal government spend so much time and resources protecting pederasts? I don't get it, Mr. I don't. This is Jeffrey Epstein. He was found guilty of these things. Yet we spend all of these resources protecting the client list and everybody who was involved. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just a dumb Midwesterner, So I guess I don't.
You got common sense. Common sense. That's what you are from the Midwest.
Asking too many questions.
Yeah,
that's right. Everybody needs, obviously, if you're not already following Jim Jordan, you're crazy, okay? You're living in one of the limestone caves where the government does its retirement. And you're also, by following Jim Jordan, who has more followers than us on X, very humbling, 6 million followers on X, you're missing out on the man who actually saved Facebook from itself. And it's something that we haven't gotten a chance to thank you for live.
Thank you.
Mark Zuckerberg specifically citing your investigation into Facebook and censorship, saying this is why we've decided to destroy all of our censorship policies because of Jim Jordan. And so thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thanks for all the good work you do.
All right. Godspeed.
You too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we rock and we roll. I want to go into the caverns. I want to go in the caves. I want to go into the limestone cave. Klein, we got to get into those caves. I want to get on one of those tricycles. Let's spend a day down there. We run the government now. So we just ask. The person who's in charge, they have to let us go. Right? We're already, it's amazing. Put Danny in the basket and ride around, right? With Danny, put a bonnet on him, dress him up like E.T. and drive him through the caves, through the government caves. It must happen. Now that we've said it live on the stream, we just have to make it, and we have to do it. Yep. I want to get on one of those tricycles. I want to get a little ET driving around. Maybe here's what we could do. Here's what we do, Killer Klein. We get our own illegal alien. We dress him as ET, put him in the bicycle, okay? And we say we just call it an alien. It's an alien movie. I'll work on it. We need to just work on that writing. We'll work on the joke's in there somewhere, okay? Or they're in there some. It can be the deportation scene. Technically, they did deport E.T., all right? Technically, that's what happened, all right? Back when the government took these kind of things very seriously. That we used to have a government that cared about illegal aliens like E.T. wandering around in cornfields eating M&Ms and stuff, okay? Dangerous times. Look at this Fed. These are the people. These are the people we're paying salaries to. This is what they do all day. Do you understand? This is what they do all day. Do we have a video of it? Oh my God. So something that could literally exist inside of Big Balls' spreadsheet, something that could be, look at this guy, look at this dork. Oh, I get to drive around in a golf cart inside of a cave. This is where we keep all the documents. Why? We keep them in cardboard boxes. Why? Oh, it's so important that you've got a chain link fence, razor wire. Because it's so special. The Fed's retirement documents. Oh, man. Hey, Alex, do you have your Worcester City Council video? If you don't, then you've done yourself a horrible disservice to this show. ALX made huge news yesterday, and he's a very humble man, so he would never tell you, so it's my job to tell you. ALX made national news. It was on Laura Ingram's program. It was on Megyn Kelly's show. It was on hundreds of other radio stations. ALX did a compilation of the biggest freaks and lunatics at his local city council, meeting, coming forward and explaining the absolute state of the Democrat Party. So while we have Jim Jordan on here talking about Donald Trump suing Letitia James, releasing the Epstein list, doing mass firings across the federal government with the feds, that's what we're doing. Okay, closing down the border, solving wars. Donald Trump posting on Truth this morning that he's pretty much stopped the war in Ukraine. Like, it's all done now. Trump just ended the war, okay? That's what we're doing. That's what we've decided to do during the golden era. Here's what libs are doing. Let's take a real quick jump into the state of libs, okay? Let's go.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here. I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books the Nazis burned books on gender sciences first. Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans, LGBT people, and even special needs, denying life-saving and affirming care.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
Please wrap up.
Look at me!
Okay, we're all done here.
Fucking pathetic!
No, we're all done. Come on.
Of course, we need to continue celebrating Black History Month because in spite of what's coming down from Washington, we all know that we all exist and we all need to be recognized for our existence.
I think we get the point. Oh man, oh man, I missed out on Minnie Mouse here. Looks like I cut a little too early. Sometimes it happens, ladies and gentlemen. ALX. This supercut was on Fox News. It was all across everywhere. Go follow ALX. He's of course our executive producer here on the program, and he's so close to 1 million subs. So close. Come on, baby. 30,000. He's so close. Let's go, ALX. Yeah, that's a real winner there. Thank you for showing us the absolute state. I mean, they constantly do this. They show us the absolute state of the Democrat Party. It is very entertaining. It is sometimes hard to watch. It makes you feel very bad for people because they're like so angry and enraged, and they're literally the meme. They're literally the meme. Literally the meme. Okay? Goodness gracious. So yeah, we got quite the vibes today. We're always out here. We always out here to make sure that you are seeing the landscape in your country as it actually is. And sometimes it's just really fun and really painful. There was a hearing on Doge. Of course, it's Doge that's causing this meltdown, this like hysterical meltdown on the left, and they're actually psychologically spiral. It's called a spiral, right? It's like this when you just can't pull yourself out and you're broken. Get me a manual cleaver. Do we have a manual cleavers? Like just mooing into like Democrats are now just mooing into microphones because they don't like Elon Musk. They're going moo. That's what they're doing. I have footage. I'll prove it to you. We'll grab it to you for you just a second. I have footage for you. We've reduced them to just animal noises at this point, which is great and fun and exciting and entertaining. Okay. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for the Elon Musk moo-moo.
Now, I'm going to be quick because I want to send a message to somebody. Elon, take your musty millions and musty Moscow rights to the moon. Because if you don't, we're going to stand up, we're going to speak out, we're going to march, we're going to do anything we need to do to make sure that the people of this country understand that the CFPB is for them. You get your musty hands off of our money or go to Moscow, you musty moo. Or go to Moscow. You musty moo.
What? Like, would you? Okay. This is a member of Congress. This guy's been a member of Congress for a very long time. I'm trying to mess with the mic. Do you realize how unimpressive these people are? If I began the program, like, would you do a wellness check on me if I like began the program by going, Joe Biden's a moo? Would you like think there's something maybe wrong with me? Like maybe I've been broken mentally. Maybe there's something else going on in the background. They're not well. These people are not well. I think we've done quite a number actually on them. And they don't know, for the first time in my life, they really don't have marching orders. They don't know where to defend. When you're attacking so fast, all of the sacred ground that Democrats have, they have not had to put up a defense in such a long time because Republicans have been such cucks. Democrats have never had to defend anything. They've lost their capacity. They've lost their will. They've lost their ability to stand a watch. You can see it here yesterday at the Doge committee hearing on Capitol Hill. That it's like more like an SNL episode than anything. Here you go.
You talk about people invading our data. Listen, people said that they were upset about TikTok, but I'm upset about the guy that runs Twitter, who for sure is doing nefarious things. So let me tell you something.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
It's time for
the
us
gentlelady's
to do
time
our
has expired.
And rein in this rogue actor known
The gentlelady's
as
time has expired.
While we're sitting here, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are recklessly and illegally dismantling the federal government, shuttering federal agencies, firing federal workers.
Now, this, of course, we know is President Elon Musk. He's also the world's richest man.
Not that we had a great headline on this, And we want to be polite, okay? Because they brought in a man who's blind to be the star witness on how he doesn't see any government corruption. So we're just going to try and be as polite as possible here by stating what factually happened yesterday. Democrats at the Doge meeting called in a George Soros-funded head of a watchdog group. Here's the headline here. 100% accurate. Blind director of watchdog group funded by George Soros testifies that he does not see widespread evidence of government waste. Just going to leave it there. We're just going to leave it there. Okay? Democrat star speaker Dylan Gardet, director of government affairs at the NGO Project on Government Oversight, POGO, says he can't see widespread abuse or waste from the government spending. He's also blind. So, there's that. That's a bold strategy, I would say, right? Okay. Here's how friend of the show, Marjorie Taylor Greene, was able to defend the work of Doge. Let's go.
Our massively growing debt and interest are the chains and shackles harnessed to every American and their children and every generation to come. But first, let us be brutally honest about how this massive debt came to be in the first place. It came from Congress and from elected presidential administrations. And I believe enslaving our nation in debt is one of the biggest betrayals against the American people by its own elected government. The American people's anger over this betrayal is what gave birth to the concept of Doge, the Department
of Government Efficiency is just there to cut government waste and actually delete entire agencies. Elon Musk, in his most recent interview, saying, "Oh no, don't you worry. We haven't even gotten started yet, and I have great news to report to you on the feds taking their early resignation." First, here's Elon.
Well, I think we do need to delete entire agencies as opposed to leave part of them behind. Because if you leave part of them behind, it's easy. It's kind of like if leaving a weed. If you don't remove the roots of the weed, then it's easy for the weed to grow back. But if you remove the roots of the weed, it doesn't stop weeds from ever growing back, but it makes it harder. So we have to really delete entire agencies, many of them. That's not to say there won't be an increase over time of bureaucracy in some new administration, but it'll be from a much lower baseline. So it's a step in the right direction. I think the overarching goal here is to lay the foundation for prosperity that will last many decades, maybe centuries, and but it won't be forever. Nothing's forever. But I think we can strengthen the foundations of the United States substantially.
We need to delete entire agencies, lots of them, says Elon Musk. They haven't even gotten started. The chainsaw, the blades haven't even done a full rotation. Oh, this is an exciting time. Here comes the numbers of the feds who have taken buyout offers on their little tricycles down in their caves. The Trolls of Moria. It's like a Lord of the Rings, adaptation. Trump, Musk, winning war on Fed waste. 75,000 feds have taken a buyout offer. That number we hear from our own sources inside of Doge is actually well past 100,000. Now, there's 2 million feds in the workforce, but that's a percentage that have said, we're done. We're voluntarily piecing out, okay? 75,000, 100,000 feds have submitted paperwork to say, yes, we're actually useless. Or actually the opposite. And I think this is really important. What this offer is saying is if you are useful to the private sector, this is the red pill, blue pill moment that's going on here. What this offer is saying is that if you are useful to the private sector, then you should have no problem finding a job in the next 8 months. You'll get paid for it. You'll get your pension. You'll get your full benefits. Go be successful in the private sector. And there's a really good chance you'll probably make more than in the public sector. It tends to work that way. And so take it. Go be profitable. Go have value, right? What Elon Musk is talking about in these speeches is zero value employees. People that create zero value or negative value. They don't do work. They just sit around on their tricycles all day, driving around in their caverns. These people need to go. Imagine being so worthless that you don't take that offer. Would you mind if I flip this around on its head? If you have no talent that could be used in the public sector, correction, the private sector, you're currently in the public sector, you work for the state, you work for the feds, and you have no talent that is applicable to the private sector. I run a business. We have a small business here. It's humble. We're very proud of it. We're very public. You see what we do all day, right? Little internet company. I don't hire people to drive tricycles in caves. That's not something that the private sector would ever do, because there's no way in the private sector that makes any sense. There's no way that that if you invest $1 in that, you're going to get $1.05 back, right? Which is how this and every other business works. There's no margin there. In fact, there's a massive loss there. I can't pay someone to ride a tricycle in a cave. That's what the Fed does right now, and that's probably just one of many obscene examples that we don't even know about just yet. The point is, the people who aren't taking this offer are proving that they have no value to the private sector. They have to the real economy, to the economy that isn't propped up via fraud and theft and charity. They have no value, no market value. Because anybody that has market value, a lawyer, an accountant, whatever, doctor, nurse, anybody who has market value, like a marketable skill, would have taken this offer immediately and ran with it. So what you're saying here is there are 1.9 million feds, because 100,000 have taken the offer, so 1.9 million feds, 2 million total federal workforce, who believe that they don't have that they have zero value or negative value in their skill set. Because otherwise they would have taken the offer. So they've outed themselves as worthless. Tick-tock. Why does it matter? Well, I like putting bow on things. And luckily today, man, there's just this, it's called the weave. There's like this beautiful bow that we can put on it. We started with RFK Jr. and his love of his children, his grandchildren. He's 70, the fittest 70-year-old I've ever seen. He says these are goals, obviously, to be 70 and to be like RFK, jacked. This is the best motivator on earth. Having a country to leave for your children. And you heard Elon Musk talk about it in the clip I just played. Why is this man, who's the richest man on earth, Elon Musk has so much money that George Soros couldn't pay his taxes. George Soros, with all of his net worth, doesn't have enough money to pay the taxes for a quarter on what Elon Musk owes, based on his wealth. So let's just put in perspective here. We talk a lot about George Soros, and we should. But let's just put in perspective here how rich Elon Musk actually is. This man could do anything. This man could, we're talking about Guatemala. He could buy Guatemala. He's like, he could just do anything, right? And instead, he's sleeping in a sleeping bag. In a drabby, shabby, fluorescently lit federal office. on the floor with a bunch of pimple-faced 19-year-olds who are computer whizzes and AI experts, but, you know, Elon Musk could be just hanging out at Lake Como, right? Lake Como with George Clooney. Elon Musk could be doing whatever he wants. He could be on that special little yacht that the Obamas are always hanging out with Tom Hanks at in Greece. I wonder why. Don't ask the Obama's chef about it. Elon could be doing anything and hanging out with anyone. He's doing the single hardest job and the most hated job on earth. So what's the motivation? Well, it certainly can't be money. It has to be something more important than that. We have proof of Elon Musk's motivation right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is someone named Little X. Little X, in a clip that was posted right before the 2024 presidential election, Little X tells us his father's motivation. Let's go.
What should I do?
Save America.
And?
Help Trump.
Okay.
In the moments after you've seen Elon Musk with Little X around his shoulders at various events, Elon loved this child. Elon Musk at New Year's Eve event with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, for instance. We're walking through the halls of Mar-a-Lago, on the balcony with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Well, Little X is sort of ubiquitous in all of these. Elon Musk sees Little X as his mini-me. Elon Musk sees Little X as his legacy. And he's taking an opportunity to take a big step back and ask what will actually matter. Because when I die, the money in my bank account, they're just decimal points. It's just decimal points. It's just nothing. It's not real. It doesn't really actually mean anything. Will I leave my kid a functional country? On the night of President Trump's election, where victory was not assured, here's how Elon Musk was engaging with his child. Go. It's the clip that was just on screen. The one in the interview, please. Right here. Hey, Klein, it was just up.
Hey, what are you doing?
Okay, I guess so. All right, well, I got mini-me here.
It certainly is.
Mini-me, you complete me.
What's your name? What's your name?
Actually, I'm going to show you. It does,
X. Should we help President Trump?
yeah.
Well, you have. I mean, it looks.
I started this,
Even he laughs like Elon, actually.
I like your laugh. That's a laugh of an honest man.
It's my mini-me. And it's like the same motivator. It's the greatest motivation. It's not money. It's not jets. Elon Musk owns a fleet of jets, the nicest ones on Earth. He owns the most successful car company on Earth. He owns the most successful satellite company on Earth. He pretty much anything that you could create, he owns. You could argue the single most powerful social media company on Earth. What else? Flamethrowers? Making tunnels? He does that too. What other trappings can you possibly give a man? What else could you possibly give to motivate him? Elon Musk is full up, right? It's his kids, man. Dude, it's all for his kids. You saw that this week in the Oval Office when Elon Musk brought in his Little X to chill with Trump. And Elon Musk actually posted this clip of little X and himself in the Oval Office. And Elon posted this clip specifically because it featured little X standing in front of him as he talks about restoring the true nature of what our government was intended to be. Let's listen.
If you sorry. So I tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes. If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large, unelected bureaucracy. This is not to say that there are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that is responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. And if you looked at this, if you looked at the founders today and said, what do you think of the way things have turned out? Well, we have this unelected, fourth unconstitutional branch of government, which is the bureaucracy, which has, in a lot of ways, currently more power than any elected representative. And this is not something that people want, and it's not. It does not match the will of the people. So it's just something we've got to fix. And we've also got to address the deficit. So we've got a $2 trillion deficit, and if we don't do something about this deficit, the country's going bankrupt. I mean, it's really astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking because we spend a lot of money on defense. But if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country. So what I really want to say is, like, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country, and it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply vast amounts of debt.
This is how you know where his motivation lies, because Elon Musk, this is like 50s, right? So I don't actually know his age, so get me actually his age. But I think he's in like 50, 55, yeah. Yeah, okay. So Elon Musk is 53. Elon Musk, even if he lives a very long life, will probably never see America go bankrupt, right? Or like this debt come due. He's thinking about his children and his children's children in doing this work. This is how you know. This is like the telltale sign. The people who want to curse their children or don't give a damn about anyone other than themselves is Mitch McConnell, getting wheeled around like an eggplant vegetable with a boot on in a wheelchair yesterday. Mitch McConnell is the kind of person who is for the type of spending that tortures and dooms the next generation. This is an image of a man who loves his children, and this is the image of a man who hates his children. Mitch McConnell hates his children, ladies and gentlemen. This is the image of a man. Oh, you got actually. There you go. There you go. There it is. What a goon. What a truly broken man. It's the image of somebody who's barely able to function, just hanging around long enough to try and sabotage the future of the country. The banality of evil, truly. So what happens next, ladies and gentlemen? What happens next is that you see the lengths at which a father is willing to go for his children. That's what happens. Now, little X became quite a little star during this press conference. First off, he told off reporters
And I check frequently with the president to make sure that this is what the president wants to have happen. So we talk almost every day, and I
little X right here responding to reporters. Shh, be quiet.
And I check frequently with the president to make sure that this is what the president wants to have happen. So we talk almost every day, and I
little X then sticking his fingers in his father's ears so he can't hear the reporters. Smart kid.
You also referenced treasuries on Air Force One the other night.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, really the first order of business is to make sure we're actually collecting. Sorry for this. I thought my son might enjoy this, but he's sticking his fingers in my ears and stuff. So it's a bit hard to hear sometimes. Hey, stop that. So,
Trump, the grandfather of 10, sitting there, smiling knowingly. And the final note on all of this, little X saying telling Donald Trump in the middle of the press conference that he needs to pee.
A significant part of the presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem significant part of the presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem.
How can you be against this motivation? What depths of darkness do you need to reach in your life, and unhappiness and misery must you attain in order to be against a man who has, and this is a great meme, please pop that up, the greatest motivation on earth, which is to just save this country for his kids. This is the hardest work Elon Musk will ever do. Spaceships and digging tunnels, that's nothing compared to tunneling out from the nightmare of 150 plus years of grotesque federal overreach and bureaucratic strangulation intended to create slaves of all of us. It's the toughest thing Elon has ever done. And he's devoting himself to it because of his kids. And how could you possibly stand against that? We found a group of people who could. And so I just want to show you, much like zooming into the town hall in Worcester, Massachusetts. Here's a little zoom in to the other side to show you what we're up against here, ladies and gentlemen. The View attacking a 4-year-old little X.
So yesterday, Elon Musk took his son X to a press conference. I did not name the child. And I don't want to hear any more mess about our names, okay? Okay?
Oh.
Anywho, he took little X.
Funny. And little Instagram. He doesn't own Instagram.
He doesn't own Instagram. He just took little X with him to a press conference in the Oval Office to defend himself against critics who say he should not have the power to gut the federal agency.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it's so funny. Childless witches of The View doing what they do best, attacking 4-year-olds. At least they found somebody who is like potentially on the same IQ level. I think I thought about making that joke when I first saw this. And I was like, that's totally unfair to little X. That 4-year-old would most likely score so much higher than the combined score of the entire panel on The View if you were to give an IQ test, a fair one. So that's who we're that's it. That's who we face. That's the landscape. And it's glorious to be on the winning side of that. And to see exactly how shrieky and how naked and how embarrassing and how crippled they all are as culture collapses around them, because they lived in a fake world. They lived in a Truman Show. They lived in a Matrix. It was all fake to begin with. They never had any real support. The people were never behind them. They were never down with any of these agendas. And all you had to do was pull one Jenga block and the entire tower collapses. And now they have nowhere to run. The meltdown has been amazing. Okay. One final thing from our from sweet Carolyn Levitt yesterday at the White House. Now, will we get a chance to ask a question next week when we are in D.C. for CPAC? I don't know. We've reached out to the White House. They have a lot going on right now. I would like to, and if I do, we will certainly have a question box open on BennyJohnson.com. Carolyn Levitt yesterday looking straight down the barrel at CNN and saying it's the Gulf of America. This is the new What is a Woman? Say Gulf of America. You know, Mexico is planning on suing Google Maps for changing Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. That's how upset they are about it. Trump just ringing like a bell on this one. It's how the left attacks us. They change the names of things. They change they change the definition of what a woman is. And Trump's using their playbook against them. Here's CNN yesterday freaking out because a reporter from the AP refuses to use the term Gulf of America. A reporter, then they banished that reporter from the White House, from specific Oval Office meetings with Donald Trump, saying you don't have a right to come in here. If you're going to be fake news, it's called the Gulf of America. If you're going to publish fake news, then you don't have a right to be in the same room as the president, which is great. Best clip from yesterday. Here we go.
I don't think for you. Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the geographical identification name server. And Apple has recognized that. Google has recognized that. Pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America. And it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world. Sure.
Bring that energy with you every single day. The great Carolyn Levitt doing all of us proud, ladies and gentlemen. It's just an important thing to note that when you misgender and use the incorrect pronouns for the Gulf of America, you're committing literal violence, okay? You need to respect the pronouns, all right? These are just, you made the rules. We're just forcing you to follow your own rules. Respect the pronouns of the Gulf of America, okay? Otherwise, literal violence you are committing. It's called the Gulf of America, all right? Call her by her name. Whew. An exciting show. So much news. So much great energy. And a Donald Trump press conference later in the day. Ladies and gentlemen, very interesting times. We are living in the Prime Minister of India will be at the White House, Narendra Modi. And that's a pretty important relationship. And so should be exciting times. I believe we'll be live for that. If you support us and our work here, please go to BennyJohnson.com. Sign up for the Benny Brigade. We're telling you there's going to be some really exciting things that we are working on, and we just appreciate your support. If you're just watching the show, we just say we love you and thank you for being part of what we're building here. It is the single fastest growing news stream in the world. And so we say thank you. Just by watching, you are helping build a better country. What's that? Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow is Friday, so we do Ask Benny. We do Ask Benny Anything questions. You can get in there and use the question box. Pop in a question, we'll answer it live on the show. The verse of the day from Proverbs 16. Pride goeth before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Man, have you seen a lot of falls. Have you seen a lot of falls? And we're not just talking about Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell, who have physically fallen. You've seen a lot of falls. A lot of people who really thought that they had the system rigged, really thought they had this whole thing buttoned up, and they'll never have to suffer any consequences for their actions. They'll never have to answer the people. They'll never have to answer to God because they don't believe in God. They believe they're God. And that's the first problem. If I might diagnose, that's the first problem. Okay? That's actually the source of all wisdom is God, understanding that you are not God. And that's where you should begin your journey for knowledge and wisdom, ladies and gentlemen. It's certainly where we start every single day. You should join us, and it is an honor to do this program, to march with you. Happy warriors cannot be defeated. Let's go on to victory. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
Thanks for helping me move, man. Ain't no slack, Jack. Hey, what's the stat? Oh, that's the money you could be making working for Alvin Bragg in New York City, boy.
Who's watching?
Mr. Trizzle Dizzle, I thought I told you to pay me $500 million. Did you bring that money today?
No.
Well, that's too bad. I need my money, sucker. So what I'm going to do is take all your properties in New York and start selling... Did you just flip me off?
No.
Yes, you did. You just flipped me the bird. If you don't shape up and get your head straight... See there, you just did it again.
No, I didn't.
Right there. Just that one.
Activate the statute of deportation.
Man, I can't wait to see people's faces when we come on shore. This should really get the city's positive energy flowing.
The statue of deportation has arrived in New York City. I ain't afraid of no woke.
When the truth gon' be faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny shows the storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.